All right, you're tuned in to the Daily X Report from MakeXGreat.com. Let's jump right in and see what went down on X yesterday.
And what a day it was. We're talking August 18th, 2025. It was this wild mix of big tech news, some really heavy global events, and yeah, some of the weirdest viral stuff you'll see. It was a lot.
So, let's break it down. Here are the top stories you need to know about. We've got a much-needed fix for Grok, a monster hurricane on the move, and a pretty historic meeting that had everyone talking. First up, on the tech side of things, xAI rolled out a pretty important update for the Grok app. A lot of users had been running into some annoying issues, and this was the fix they were waiting for. At the same time, the big breaking news story was Hurricane Erin. This thing just blew up, intensifying like crazy. It really grabbed everyone's attention, especially with the huge threat it was posing to the US East Coast.
And then, in the world of politics, you had this massive event. Former President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelenskyy sitting down for talks. Man, did that get the platform buzzing. The discussion, the debate, it was everywhere.
Okay, so let's dive a little deeper, starting with what was happening inside X itself. You know, the platform updates, the developer tools, and even some business metrics, the whole shebang. So if you've been using the Grok app, you might have run into this. For a bit now, people were reporting this really frustrating login issue, especially when trying to use their email. I mean, it sounds like a small thing, but a bug like that can pretty much make an app useless, right?
Well, yesterday, xAI came through with the fix. They pushed out version 1.1.51. And not only did it solve that login headache, but they also threw in some nice little upgrades. We're talking better photo animations and, finally, multi-select for photos. It might seem like a small update, but for the people using it every day, it was a big deal.
But for the devs out there, the real big news was the new Account Activity API v2. Now, this is a game changer. It means pro users can now get real-time notifications for stuff like posts and DMs. Think about it. That opens the door for all sorts of super responsive automated tools. And you could tell it was a hit because the feedback from the developer community was just instantly positive. But, you know, it wasn't all sunshine and roses on the tech side. A new report dropped this pretty startling number, a 44% drop in Android app downloads from the Google Play Store year over year. Wow. A number like that, that's huge. It really points to a big challenge in bringing new people onto the platform. So here's the big picture, right? On one hand, you have xAI pushing out all these cool fixes and new tools for developers. But on the other hand, the number of new people downloading the app is going down. It really makes you wonder, can all this new AI stuff actually turn things around and kickstart user growth again? That's the million-dollar question. Okay, so that's the tech side. Now let's pivot and look at what was happening out in the world, and more importantly, how it was playing out on X. Hands down, the biggest story of the day was Hurricane Erin. This storm ramped up to a scary Category 4, and just like that, X became the go-to place for everything. You had on-the-ground videos, official alerts pouring in. It was a constant stream of information. It's in moments like these you really see the power of the platform as a real-time crisis hub. Meanwhile, in politics, all eyes were glued to the White House. That meeting between Trump and Zelenskyy, wow. They were talking peace, Crimea, NATO, and it just lit a fire into the platform. The debate, the hot takes, the analysis, it was an absolute firestorm. It's a perfect example of how X is basically the main stage where all these different worldviews collide. And speaking of that global town square idea, look no further than Tel Aviv. The platform was just flooded with videos and updates from massive protests there. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people in the streets, and the feed gave you this raw, unfiltered view of what was happening, with people demanding action for the Gaza hostages. All right, let's shift gears completely, from the heavy stuff to the wonderfully weird. Because every day on X has its own vibe, its own viral moments, and yesterday was definitely one for the books. Okay, if you were on the platform at all yesterday, there's no way you missed this. It was just lizard, 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 flooding your feed. So what on earth was that all about? So get this, it's from a post-credit scene for that new Pixar movie, Elio. It's literally just this little green lizard pressing a button over and over while a robot voice says, lizard. And people just ran with it. It became the perfect meme for anything repetitive and annoying in your life. You know, like a boring meeting or an app notification you can't clear. It's just lizard, lizard. And just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, the Italian brain rot trend took over. It's hard to even explain. It's these AI-generated faces with these completely made-up, ridiculous Italian-sounding names set to this weird, operatic music.
It's pure, glorious internet nonsense. Just a perfect example of the kind of surreal humor that can only exist and spread on a platform like X.
So you take the tech fixes, the global news, the lizard memes, and that was yesterday. But what's on the horizon? Let's take a quick look at what we should be watching for next.
Okay, so definitely keep an eye on Hurricane Erin. That story is far from over. We're also waiting to see what official statements come out after that Trump-Zelenskyy meeting. And back in the tech world, there are these really interesting rumors bubbling up about new AI companions from XAI. People are digging through code, and the chatter is getting louder.
And that last point leaves us with a really big question for tomorrow, doesn't it? Because we're not just talking about another chatbot here. The rumors suggest these new AI companions might have some form of body awareness. I mean, think about that. Are we about to see the next big step in how we live and interact with AI?
And there you have it. That's the wrap-up for what happened on X August 18th. Be sure to check back tomorrow for the next report. Thanks for tuning in.